Welcome to the International Luxury Hotel Association's webinar series, where top hotel owners, operators, developers, suppliers, and brands connect to shape the future of luxury hospitality. For over 15 years, the ILHA has been the most influential association in the industry, with global chapters and the largest hospitality network on LinkedIn, 500,000 members strong. Our flagship event, Inspire, is the leading luxury hospitality conference in Europe and the US, where decision-makers network, share insights, and get deals done. Visit us at ilha.org.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Barak Hershowitz, president of the International Luxury Hotel Association, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar. At the ILHA, we're dedicated to supporting innovation and excellence. That's why I'm especially excited to introduce one of our newest partners, Shift4. Shift4 is the leading integrated payments and commerce technology partner that processes over 200 billion annually for businesses across the globe. But what really sets them apart, especially for us in the luxury hospitality space, is their forward-thinking approach to guest experience. They have seamless payment solutions. We love them for their cutting-edge digital innovation, which includes cryptocurrency and blockchain-backed technologies. So today we're going to talk about stablecoin and cryptocurrency payments, what you as a hospitality merchant would want to know. And then as digital payments evolve, luxury brands are uniquely positioned to benefit from these technologies, and they're going to let you know, really how to benefit from this. They're going to show you how you can unlock some new revenue streams. They're going to show you how it's going to help you attract high-value travelers, and also just streamlining your operations through smart and, secure transactions. So to guide you through this exciting landscape today, I'm pleased to introduce Alex Wilson, who is the head of crypto at Shift4. Alex brings deep expertise in the world of digital assets. And he's going to walk us through how stable coins and crypto payments are already reshaping the future in our industry, hospitality. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Barak and team, thanks for having me on today. Today, we're going to talk about stablecoin and cryptocurrency payments, specifically around hospitality. So as mentioned, I'm Alex, head of crypto at Shift4. I actually joined Shift4 about 3 years ago. I was the co-founder of a crypto business that Shift4 acquired. And now our team leads the crypto team at Shift4. So bringing our expertise in crypto to the Shift4 merchant base, building out new products, things like that. And for those of you who might not know too much about Shift4, Barak gave a brief overview in the intro, but just wanted to hit on a couple of things. We've been around for over 25 years now. The founder of Shift4, Jared Isaacman, has a really amazing story. He started the business when he was just 16 in his parents' basement and has been running the business ever since and grown it into this huge company it is today. We're processing hundreds of billions of dollars a year for hundreds of thousands of different customers in all sorts of different countries. and over 5 billion annual transactions across over 100 different payment methods and 150 different currencies. And if you look at what kind of customers we work with, it's really across a lot of different verticals. So you've got food and beverage. You'll recognize a lot of those logos, I'm sure. You've got hospitality. We work with, I think, nearly 40% of hotels in the US. We work with retail, sports and entertainment, casinos, online gaming, e-commerce, and nonprofits as well. So really wide ranging in terms of the industries we service, but there's always been a big focus on hospitality. So let me get into it, and I'll try to keep this fairly concise. But I want to start with just talking about the rise of cryptocurrency and stablecoins and what a large market this has become. Typically, when I talk to people about crypto, I think they're pleasantly surprised by how mainstream crypto has become and how large the market has become. I think a lot of people still see crypto as sort of a more fringe asset class or a new asset class that hasn't really matured. But if you do some Googling and look up what types of companies are involved in crypto these days, it's very different than 5 years ago. You've got Visa and MasterCards of the world involved. You've got most of the big banks and investment managers involved. Companies like BlackRock and Fidelity launched Bitcoin ETFs just over a year ago, and they were some of the most successful ETF launches in history and brought in tens of billions of dollars. Pretty much every major finance and financial services company and most Fortune 500 companies even is in some way thinking about crypto or stable coins, and in many cases already piloting it or using it in their everyday business. So crypto has come a long way. It's much further along than I think the average person realizes. And a big part of that is because a lot of the complexity has been abstracted away from the consumer and from the merchant. So you might already be using crypto in some cases or touching it in some way and not even realize it yet. And then, of course, the market size is really important to understand here. So the number of people using crypto worldwide is growing at an incredible rate. The latest data shows that over 600 million people now use crypto globally. And the overall market cap of cryptocurrencies exceeds 3 trillion. I think it's roughly, let's call it 3.5 trillion today. And over $1 billion of crypto is trading hands every single day. So this is a huge, huge market, much bigger than people realize, and has been growing behind the scenes at a lot of these really big companies getting involved. And the rate of growth has been really impressive too. So even if we think about just the US market for a minute, roughly 18% of US adults have owned crypto. And that number continues to trend up as crypto gets easier to access, easier to use. Things like the Bitcoin ETFs that launched last year really expanded the accessibility of Bitcoin and crypto. And crypto as an investment class was the best performing asset class in the last 5 and 10 year periods. So this outperformed, the S&P, all the major stock markets. It performed better than gold. It performed truly the best by quite a bit. So if you bought Bitcoin in the last 5 or 10 years, or even the last year, you've done quite well. Bitcoin's bumping up against another all-time high these last few weeks, trading over $100,000 per Bitcoin. So it's really come a long way. And as a result, it's had a huge wealth effect. It's created an entirely new generation of wealthy people who invested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency early on. And you'll see in this chart over here, the usage has really exploded and started to catch up to other more traditional payment rails in terms of payments volume. So this chart is already a little out of date since we first put this deck together, but 2024 was the first time that stablecoins alone settled more than the Visa network. So settled over $30 trillion in 2024 and is on track to settle even more payments volume this year, over 30 trillion. It's kind of mind-blowing when you hear the number. But they've really just been booming in usage. And then you'll see Bitcoin on the graph as well. Bitcoin transaction values have increased quite a bit too. But for the payments use case, I think stablecoins are really the most relevant for this conversation. So here's just a chart showing the growth of stablecoins. Even if you forget about Bitcoin, you forget about every other crypto and just think about stablecoins, this is the growth they've had over the last handful of years. And they recently reached a new all-time high of about $250 billion. And for those of you who might be a bit newer to stablecoins, it's very simple in the sense that one stablecoin is worth $1. So the most popular stablecoins, you may have heard of them, are US dollar coin. The abbreviation is USDC. And the other largest one is Tether, which goes by USDT. Those are the two largest stablecoins. They make up the majority of the stablecoin supply and the transaction value. But each one is pegged to $1. So you don't have to worry about, conversion rates or moving prices or anything around volatility because it's just one for one, which has made them so appealing for international commerce because it gives everyone in the world really access to the US dollar that might not traditionally have access to US dollars. So even people who want to save in US dollars have been able to access stablecoins where they may not have been able to access a US bank account previously because they lived outside of the US. And if you do want to play around with some of this data, you'll see this link in the bottom of the presentation on this slide and the previous one. All this data is actually directly from Visa. So they have this really cool dashboard on Visa's website, visaonchainanalytics.com, that you see on the bottom here, that shows some fairly real-time data around stablecoin usage exploding. And Visa and MasterCard have really done a great job of pulling this data together and making it easily available to show what a big opportunity it is. And companies like Visa are already using this in their day-to-day transactions to make their business more efficient and more profitable. And then continuing on the theme of stable coins, I think I already mentioned, but in 2024, stablecoins settled more payments than Visa and MasterCard combined, according to Visa's own metrics. So pretty impressive that it settled so much in just 2024, and 2025 is on track to be another record. And in the last 12 months, stablecoins settled more than 32.9 trillion, according to Visa. And in the last 12 months, the average stablecoin supply has been about 191 billion. That, of course, continues to trend up, as you can see in that chart, and just hit a new all-time high of 250 billion just a few weeks ago. And it's not just large transactions either. So in the last 12 months, there have been 5.2 billion stablecoin transactions. So the average transaction size, is on the higher side, but still quite a few transactions happening every day. All right, so hopefully that gave everyone a bit of an overview of the cryptocurrency and stablecoin markets. Now let's get into some of the benefits of accepting stablecoins in crypto. Overall, no matter what industry you're in, whether it's hospitality or something else, there's a few key things that we're seeing really appeal to merchants and consumers. One is simply on cost. Because there's less intermediaries and less middlemen, we can offer stablecoin and crypto payments at a much lower rate than most traditional payments. So we can offer payments at a 2% rate compared to, let's say, more like a 3% rate all in. And you also don't have to worry about sort of foreign transaction fees or credit limits, things like that when you're using crypto and stable coins, because everything is being immediately settled and it's one global currency. So you don't have to worry about going to euros or dollars or vice versa or any of the foreign currencies. It's the same no matter where you're using it or who is using it globally. So for both you, the merchant, and the consumer, it really improves your economics of each transaction, saves you and the consumer money on every single transaction. So we're really seeing a lot of merchants push for these payments because in addition to the lower costs for them and the consumer, they're also getting 100% of the daily settlement every single day. There's full reporting around all of that. So really an overall increase in their margins, their access to the capital. Everything's really sped up and cheaper. And then if we continue, another big point has been access to a global market. So as I mentioned earlier, there's over 600 million people using crypto and stablecoins around the world today. That's roughly twice the size of the US population. And overall, they're really borderless. So if you're taking stablecoins from someone in the US or someone in Spain or in Germany or in Australia or Japan, it's all the same. It doesn't matter where the consumer is. The nature of cryptocurrency and stablecoins is truly borderless. So if someone from Japan sends you a payment in crypto or stablecoins, it's exactly the same as if someone from Europe sends it or in the US. And for you, the end recipient and the merchant, you still just get settled US dollars or euros or whatever your local currency is, whatever you prefer, we can settle in. And you don't have to worry about the volatility or anything like that. Everything's locked in, so you're not exposed to that volatility. And then there's also, this appeal to these tech savvy people who are using crypto. So as you can imagine, the demographics and the user base of crypto and stablecoins does tend to skew a bit younger than your typical consumer. So it really does appeal to those tech savvy, high spending demographics, especially millennials and Gen Zs who have made quite a bit of money investing in cryptocurrencies. So, especially when they're traveling, it can be a lot cheaper for these people to spend in crypto or stable coins as opposed to, using their debit or credit card from back home. Can often save them a couple percentage points in FX fees, and for you, the merchant, as well. And then another really big benefit we've seen, especially for a lot of sort of higher end and luxury places, has been the enhanced security and fraud protection that stablecoins and crypto bring. So something that's very unique about crypto and stablecoins is the transactions are irreversible. There are no chargebacks and there are no disputes. So once you get the money, you really have the money that day. There's no back and forth. There's nothing being held in a reserve or in some sort of arbitration or anything like that. You're getting 100% of the funds settled every single day, and you can't have the funds clawed back or anything like that. So you reduce your fraud risk and your chargeback risk compared to traditional payment methods. And nothing about that can change. I mean, you can, of course, still have some sort of refund policy. So you might choose to refund, but it'll always be based on your own refund policy and your own discretion for how you want to handle those things. There's no network or no middleman handling those disputes or interfering. It's always between you and the end consumer for how you want to resolve anything. So we've really seen this as a huge benefit to merchants, save them a ton of money and uncertainty around high transactions, especially in the hospitality space. And then this final point on the benefits of accepting crypto. So this, of course, makes your business just appear more innovative and actually be more innovative. There's a lot of surveys out there from Forbes and all the major outlets saying, consumers do prefer forward-thinking brands. It certainly makes you appear as a much more modern and easy to work with brand. So crypto is one of those ways that a lot of companies are signaling how innovative they are. And it's also just a really good marketing tool. So if you announce you're taking crypto, it generates quite a bit of buzz, attracts a lot of new customers to you, and really puts you in a positive light. And major companies are already doing it. So it's going mainstream. Not everyone is taking crypto yet or doing something with crypto, but it's certainly getting there, especially among the larger companies and the higher end companies. So most of the big banks are in some way involved. And a lot of these crypto enthusiasts and consumers that you attract by taking crypto will be quite loyal, because not every hotel takes crypto yet. So they're actively seeking hotels and restaurants and airlines and things like that, which take crypto because they're much more likely to use these merchants and these, vacations, if it's a merchant that accepts crypto. So it's really a unique loyalty program as well. All right. And then this next section will be more tailored around why hotels specifically should take crypto. So number one, this overlaps with a little bit of what we talked earlier, but number one reason is attracting these high spending crypto travelers. In 2024, crypto users spent 12 billion just on travel alone, with hotels as one of the top categories. So a lot of people that are involved in crypto, it's a very global international market. So they travel a lot. They like to spend their crypto. They like to book their hotels, their airline tickets. They like to pay for their food and drinks. They like to pay for as much as they can in crypto because it's cheaper for them to do it that way. They don't have to convert, deposit to their bank account, and then spend on their credit card and have fees on that. It's much more efficient for them to actually spend in crypto. So they will travel to places, they will book hotels, they will book with airlines that take crypto. And it's a really unique way to attract these new customers. And they tend to spend quite a bit too. A lot of these people have made a lot of money in crypto. It was the best performing asset class over the last 5 and 10 year periods. So when they're offered a crypto option to spend, they actually tend to spend quite a bit more. So even if this is your existing customers, I bet you your existing customers that have crypto would spend more if they were able to spend in crypto. You'll notice quite a big uptick in how much they're spending at your hotels. And 40% of these crypto transactions are cross-border. So they're spending a lot of this money while they're traveling. So both you and the guest save quite a bit on FX fees and other costs and get to improve your margins that way. There's been quite a few hotels now starting to get involved in the crypto space, especially the higher end ones. This is, I'd say, much more appealing for hotels where it costs, a couple $1,000s to stay there, maybe $500, $1,000 and up per night. This is less, the $100 a night hotels and more the high-end 4 and 5 star hotels that are quite expensive and popular tourist destinations. And there's a pretty good case study you can look up from the Kessler collection where they saw a 20% booking uptick after adopting Bitcoin. So there's some really great case studies around this, and it's becoming more and more popular. And there's definitely going to be an early mover advantage to a lot of these things. So the people who adopted early are going to build that brand loyalty much earlier than those who wait until everyone's doing it. And then these are a couple essentially FAQs we get all the time. We've had a lot of conversations with hotels and other industries. Probably the number one question that always comes up is around volatility. So you've probably seen headlines of Bitcoin and crypto being volatile. The price is fairly volatile still, but with our solution, we completely eliminate that risk of volatility. So whether you're taking Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana, or stablecoins, you are completely protected from that volatility risk, and you're always getting the amount locked in at the time of the transaction and being settled US dollars. So we really just add this like another payment method. You never have to deal with the complexity of crypto. This just gets settled to you as US dollars or euros or whatever your local currency is without having to deal with converting the crypto. That's all fully automated. So we made this very, very user-friendly in terms of handling the conversions, the reporting. I mean, really just think about this just like any other payment method. Like if you were adding ACH or wires or Google and Apple Pay, this is just another payment method. So you don't need any sort of extra crypto expertise in your team or anything like that. We handle all those complexities around crypto and make it really easy for you. And we've also built the product to be very flexible around what you can accept. So we support all the major cryptocurrencies and stablecoins and wallets to maximize that consumer choice. So we don't want to limit how your consumers can pay as long as it's a legitimate cryptocurrency and liquid, so we can convert it to US dollars or similar immediately. You don't have to worry about it. We'll handle that conversion for you. And you'll get those daily deposits in your bank account just like you would for other payment methods. And here's a brief overview of how it works. I know I've said it a couple times now, but it's really fairly straightforward. The consumer pays at checkout using crypto. This could be both at the point of sale and when they're making an online booking. We have support for both. When the payment comes in, let's say you're a US merchant, the crypto gets converted to US dollars in real time and settled to you. Let's say if you're a European merchant, it would be euros and settled to you same day as well. And you can have it come to the same bank account you have on file for other payment types. So you'll have a full report of who paid in crypto, when they paid, how much they paid, all the typical reporting you'd expect from a payments provider. And then here's just a quick bottom line. This is an awesome way to future-proof your business. There's over 600 million people using crypto today and on track to be over 1 billion users by 2030. So this is only going to get more popular. Crypto is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's growing like crazy. All the big companies are getting involved. So this is going to be just more and more part of everyone's daily life, whether you notice it or realize it. It's at the very least going to be happening in the backgrounds. And it's a great way for you to get lower costs and faster payments while also increasing your global reach and eliminating your chargeback risk. So, if you do offer crypto and stablecoin payments, it's a great way to gain a competitive advantage and gain new customers. That competitive advantage won't last forever. So we see a lot of the benefit accruing to the early adopters this year and in the next couple of years before it goes truly mainstream. Because at some point, this will become just as common as a credit card payment. Might take 3, 4, or 5 years, but that's where it's headed. So there's a really big first mover advantage in adopting these payment types. So hopefully that presentation was helpful for everyone. You can go to our website and book a free consultation demo, or you can even email us directly at crypto@shift4 to learn more and set up a meeting. We're happy to jump on a call, answer questions, show you how it all works. But hopefully this at least gave you a nice high-level overview of how crypto payments work, and why you should accept them. So hope to hear from people soon, and feel free to reach out at any time. And thanks for joining today. And Barak and team, thanks for having us on today.